You're listening to the CyberWire Network, powered by N2K.
These days, attackers rarely start with a bang. They start quietly. A leaked credential, a stolen session cookie, a lookalike domain that shouldn't exist. That's where Nordstellar comes in. Nordstellar is a threat exposure management platform that helps organizations see what attackers already know about them before it turns into an incident. It brings together data breach monitoring, dark web monitoring, attack surface management, and cyber squatting detection in a single platform. That means visibility into leaked credentials and malware logs, insight into brand impersonation attempts, and a clear picture of exposed internet-facing assets and shadow IT. For CISOs, it's a way to reduce response costs, prioritize real risk, and communicate clearly with the board. For security teams, it's real-time alerts, contextual intelligence, and faster investigations without the noise. Most companies only react after the damage is done. Don't wait until your data is already for sale. Protect your business today with Nordstellar. Learn more at nordstellar.com/CyberWire Daily. Don't forget to mention CyberWire 10 for an exclusive offer. A suspected U.S. exploit kit shows up in global iOS attacks. Facebook goes down briefly worldwide. A critical help desk flaw enables remote code execution. Juniper PTX routers face a major bug. LastPass warns of phishing. Telegram becomes a cybercrime marketplace. Healthcare groups fight relaxed IT rules. A stolen Gemini API kit runs up massive bills. CISA's CIO departs. Our guest is Brian Long, CEO and co-founder of Adaptive Security, discussing how AI is reshaping social engineering and the problem of posthumous profiles. It's Wednesday, March 4th, 2026. I'm Dave Bittner, and this is your CyberWire Intel Briefing. Thanks for joining us here today. This week we are coming to you from Zero Trust World in Orlando, Florida, where we're joining security leaders and practitioners from across the industry. Our coverage here is made possible by our sponsors at ThreatLocker, who've brought the community together to talk all things zero trust, resilience, and the future of cybersecurity. Thanks for listening, and thanks to ThreatLocker for helping make it possible. Researchers say a sophisticated exploit kit, possibly originating from a leaked U.S. government framework, is behind what may be the first mass-scale attack against Apple's iOS. Google's threat intelligence group and mobile security firm iVerify reported Tuesday that the tool, known as the Karuna exploit kit, uses zero-day vulnerabilities and has already appeared in multiple campaigns across the cybercrime and espionage landscape. Google observed the kit being used over the past year in operations tied to a surveillance vendor's customer and in attacks against Ukrainian targets attributed to a suspected Russian espionage group. Investigators later recovered the full toolkit from a financially motivated cybercriminal group operating in China. iVerify estimates the campaign may have compromised at least 42,000 iOS devices, a significant figure for Apple's tightly controlled ecosystem. The spread of the toolkit resembles an eternal blue moment, referring to the leaked NSA exploit that fueled the global WannaCry and NotPetya outbreaks in 2017. While evidence suggests possible U.S. government origins, the exact path of the leak remains unclear. Apple previously issued patches related to the attacks, which researchers linked to the earlier Operation Triangulation campaign. Facebook experienced a global outage that prevented users from accessing their accounts. displaying a message that accounts were temporarily unavailable due to a site issue. According to Down Detector, the disruption began yesterday around 4:15 p.m. Eastern Time and affected users worldwide. Meta's status page reported high disruptions affecting Facebook Ad Manager, Instagram Boost, and the WhatsApp Business API. The outage was later resolved by 6:21 p.m. Eastern Time, restoring access for users. Facebook has not yet provided details about the cause of the disruption. A critical vulnerability in the open-source help desk platform FreeScout could allow attackers to execute remote code without user interaction. With a CVSS score of 10.0, the flaw bypasses a recent patch for another remote code execution bug. Researchers at Ox Security found the bypass uses a zero-width space character in a file name to evade validation checks designed to block malicious uploads. Because the invisible character passes the initial check and is later removed during sanitization, the file is ultimately saved as a valid .dot file on the server. Attackers can exploit the issue by sending a malicious email to a FreeScout mailbox requiring no authentication or user interaction. Successful attacks could allow full server compromise, data theft, and lateral movement. The flaw was patched in a recent version. A critical vulnerability in Juniper Networks' Junos OS Evolved could allow attackers to gain root-level access to PTX series routers. With a CVSS score of 9.3, the flaw stems from improper permission settings in the on-box anomaly detection framework, which runs as root and is enabled by default. Researchers at Watchtower discovered the issue. If exposed through certain configurations, attackers could exploit it without authentication and gain full control of affected routers. Juniper has advised restricting access via firewalls or access lists and plans to release a patch. LastPass is warning users about a new phishing campaign designed to steal master passwords. The emails impersonate LastPass by spoofing the display name, a tactic that can hide the real sender address in many email clients, especially on mobile devices. Messages claim there's been suspicious activity, such as unauthorized access or a master password change, and urge recipients to act quickly. Links in the emails lead to a fake LastPass login page that harvests credentials. LastPass has published indicators of compromise, including malicious URLs, IP addresses, and sender details, and is working with partners and hosting providers to take down the phishing sites. Researchers at Cypherma say Telegram has increasingly become a central hub for cybercriminal activity, replacing many traditional dark web forums. Unlike Tor-based marketplaces that could disappear when law enforcement shut them down, Telegram channels can quickly reappear if banned, allowing criminal communities to maintain operations with minimal disruption. According to the analysis, hackers use Telegram as a fast, automated marketplace where bots help sell stolen credentials, malware subscriptions, and initial access to corporate networks. Channels also host large databases of stolen login data and serve as platforms for ransomware groups to pressure victims by posting leak previews and countdowns. The platform is also used by hacktivist groups to coordinate distributed denial of service attacks and promote campaigns. Although Telegram has increased cooperation with law enforcement, including sharing user data in hundreds of investigations, researchers say cybercriminal activity on the platform continues to grow. Healthcare industry groups are warning that proposed changes to U.S. healthcare IT certification rules could weaken privacy and security protections. The Office of the National Coordinator for Health IT, part of the Department of Health and Human Services, has proposed reducing certification criteria to ease regulatory burdens on software developers and encourage innovation. However, organizations including the College of Healthcare Information Management Executives and the American Hospital Association argue that removing requirements such as authentication, access controls, and authorization would shift responsibility for cybersecurity and HIPAA compliance from vendors to healthcare providers. They warn this change could increase costs and expose hospitals to greater cyber risk, particularly as the healthcare sector remains a frequent ransomware target. Industry groups also raised concerns about removing patient matching requirements tied to care transitions, saying it could increase patient misidentification risks and undermine data security. A startup developer says their company was hit with over $82,000 in unauthorized charges after a stolen Google Gemini API key was abused within 48 hours. The small Mexico-based firm normally spends about $180 a month on cloud services, but attackers used the compromised key to generate heavy usage of Gemini 3 Pro image and text models. After revoking the key and contacting support, the developer said Google cited its shared responsibility model, meaning customers must secure their own credentials. Researchers at Truffle Security also found 2,800 publicly exposed Google API keys that could be used to access Gemini's services, potentially allowing attackers to access stored data and generate costly AI requests. The issue stems partly from older API keys that were originally meant as public project identifiers, but now also function as Gemini credentials. Google says it's working on fixes and mitigation measures. Robert Costello, Chief Information Officer at the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, announced Tuesday that he's stepping down after nearly 5 years in the role and 18 years with the Department of Homeland Security. In a LinkedIn post, Costello described serving as CISA's CIO as one of the greatest privileges of his career, highlighting the agency's progress in strengthening cybersecurity defenses, modernizing critical systems, and building lasting capabilities. During his tenure, Costello championed improved technology to help recruit talent, supported responses to emerging vulnerabilities, and promoted the use of artificial intelligence to enhance CISA's mission. He also frequently represented the agency at industry events and in public discussions about cybersecurity. Costello expressed deep gratitude for the public servants he worked alongside across DHS, CISA, and in the U.S. Air Force. His departure comes amid broader leadership changes at the agency. We wish him well. Coming up after the break, Brian Long, CEO and co-founder of Adaptive Security, discusses how AI is reshaping social engineering and the problem of posthumous profiles. Stay with us. Maybe that's an urgent message from your CEO, or maybe it's a deepfake trying to target your business. Doppel is the AI-native social engineering defense platform fighting back against impersonation and manipulation. As attackers use AI to make their tactics more sophisticated, Doppel uses it to fight back, from automatically dismantling cross-channel attacks to building team resilience and more. Doppel, outpacing what's next in social engineering. Learn more at doppel.com. That's DOPPEL.com. No, it's not your imagination. Risk and regulation really are ramping up, and customers expect proof of security before they'll sign that deal. That's where Vanta comes in. Vanta automates your compliance process and brings compliance, risk, and customer trust together on one AI-powered platform. Whether you're preparing for SOC 2 or managing an enterprise governance, risk, and compliance program, Vanta helps keep you secure and keeps your deals moving. Companies like Ramp and Ryder spend 82% less time on audits with Vanta. That's not just faster compliance, that's more time for growth. Take it from me, if you're thinking about compliance, take the time to check out Vanta. Get started at vanta.com/cyber. Brian Long is CEO and co-founder of Adaptive Security. And in today's sponsored Industry Voices segment, we discuss how AI is reshaping social engineering.
So I think the current state is shifting dramatically. And not surprisingly, that shift is being driven by the adoption of new AI tools. So, with new AI tools, attackers are able to attack with significantly more sophistication and unfortunately also success. They can use OSINT data that's collected across large language models, and then they can use things like deepfakes over voice and likeness, and pair those with real time models in order to run very sophisticated attacks to get into organizations and get whatever data they need in order to disrupt operations or steal money.
Is it just the sophistication that's changed here, or are you also tracking a difference in velocity?
Yeah, I mean, so what's changed a lot, even more recently, just in the last year, because it's been about 3 years since I think we kind of saw the dawn of the AI revolution when ChatGPT came out. But more recently, the models have become very cheap, and you can get a really good large language model and run it at basically no cost locally on your own device. There's over 2 million models available on sites like Hugging Face. So, that's really changed not only the quality, but also the volume, and as a result, we've seen over a 4x increase in social engineering phishing attacks since ChatGPT came out. And if you look at sophisticated attacks like deepfakes, they grew 17x from 2023 to 2024, with over 100,000 deepfake attacks in just 2024. And those numbers, further grew exponentially in 2025.
What are some of the things that you see behind these successful incidents? Are there patterns that you all track?
Yeah, I mean, look, we track a number of different patterns. I think that the biggest pattern I've seen though is that traditionally when you heard impersonation attacks, you'd think it's going to be the CEO asking for the gift cards type of thing, right?
Mm.
I think what's changing is you see more attacks now where they might be impersonating someone who's in the middle of the organization, right? They're gonna pretend to be the controller. I just heard someone where they pretended to be the CFO telling the controller to do something, right? In their voice, their likeness, knowing everyone's names, knowing context on the business, and I think that's where you see it going.
From a defender's point of view, what are some of the specific challenges that we face here?
Man, where to begin? I mean, there's a lot of challenges. I think number one is if you are a defender at an organization, you're probably managing over 50 tools. You've probably got every day you feel like you've got thousands of different alerts telling you things that are wrong, things you need to deal with, and you're being attacked every single day. So it's hard to find the time to keep up with the newest threats and feel like you're even just keeping your head above water, let alone dealing with what the new stuff is. So I think time and resourcing is something that we hear is a consummate issue for security teams, first and foremost.
I know you and your colleagues talk about how detection is not enough, that's not really a reliable plan these days.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think that number one, it's hard to implement detection so that it actually is covering all your surface areas at a company. First, maybe you've got something for corporate email, but does it cover personal emails? You probably don't have anything for phone calls or text messages. And then, on video, maybe you have something for your own video chat, but it doesn't work if they just drive the person to a video chat outside of your instance. So it's pretty hard to really feel buttoned up.
What's your take on security awareness training? What part does that have to play?
Yeah. So look, we operate in the world of security awareness training. And I think in what's happening now with the AI revolution, it really plays two important parts. One is spreading awareness of what these AI attacks are capable of, because I think that as much as the modern CISO may have a pretty good idea of what's possible, and they're staying on top of these things and playing around with these tools, the average employee definitely has no idea. So I think awareness and education of their employees is a big piece of it. And then I think that the second piece to me is controls, right? A lot of organizations, they're still adjusting to a remote workforce, right? Where maybe they never meet people on their team. And one of the biggest growing attacks is impersonation to get the job and then insider risk. Gartner estimated that I think by the year 2029, Gartner said that 1 in 4 job applicants will be an impersonation, will be fake. So I think that there's many different areas of the org where oh no, we've got identity locked down. People can't do anything. It's like, well, what if we hire someone and then all of a sudden they seem like they're normal and then they're not, right? And I also think, look, usage is changing a lot with AI agents and people using these tools on their own computers, and the tool can do all sorts of things. It's going to mess up all the sensors, because stuff that looks like it would have been bad bot traffic is now just going to be an agent doing something for a person as normal, and that's going to make it a lot harder for us to tell fish from fowl.
Well, I mean, given all these realities, what are your recommendations? How do you suggest folks should come at this?
Yeah, look, number one, I think awareness is what you need to do now. You need to make sure that everyone in your company is aware of what AI's capabilities are and what they need to do to just the basics to protect themselves and be aware for them. But I think it's beyond just a company thing. It's a personal thing too. What do they need to know for their own children, for their own parents? We also have a lot of free training courses that we offer for, say, children's in schools to help educate children around the Take It Down Act and non-consensual deepfake abuse in schools. And that's something that unfortunately is a huge problem in schools, all the way up to senior citizens who unfortunately are some of the biggest targets of these types of social engineering attacks.
What do you suppose the future looks like here? How are we going to get control of this situation?
Yeah, look, I think the future is that people need to become accustomed to a different sense of identity, right? They need to be aware that someone it's very easy for someone to impersonate a loved one, to know a lot of information about you and your family. And if they're asking you to do something that seems wrong, seems hokey, they're calling you from some number you've never heard before, you need to have a code word. You need to have steps you take in order to authenticate them before doing anything.
Any closing words of wisdom for folks out there best looking to come at this problem?
Yeah, look, my word of wisdom would be, it all seems a little scary and a little overwhelming. But if we just train ourselves and our people to, take a minute when something seems a little off, take a step back, and really, when in doubt, you can take a minute and not do anything. There are a few times where, urgent action is really required. And I think especially with something that seems like a, impersonation attack where they really push on urgency, is the opportunity for people to take a second, think logically, and then look at the controls of the organization, or, if it's in your own household, the code words.
That's Brian Long, CEO and co-founder of Adaptive Security. When it comes to mobile application security, good enough is a risk. A recent survey shows that 72% of organizations reported at least one mobile application security incident last year, and 92% of responders reported threat levels have increased in the past 2 years. GuardSquare delivers the highest level of security for your mobile apps without compromising performance, time to market, or user experience. Discover how GuardSquare provides industry-leading security for your Android and iOS apps at www.guardsquare.com. Ever wished you could rebuild your network from scratch to make it more secure, scalable, and simple? Meet Meter, the company reimagining enterprise networking from the ground up. Meter builds full-stack, zero-trust networks, including hardware, firmware, and software, all designed to work seamlessly together. The result? Fast, reliable, and secure connectivity without the constant patching, vendor juggling, or hidden costs. From wired and wireless to routing, switching, firewalls, DNS security, and VPN, every layer is integrated and continuously protected in one unified platform. And since it's delivered as one predictable monthly service, you skip the heavy capital costs and endless upgrade cycles. Meter even buys back your old infrastructure to make switching effortless. Transform complexity into simplicity and give your team time to focus on what really matters, helping your business and customers thrive. Learn more and book your demo at meter.com/cyberwire. That's meter.com/cyberwire. And finally, the OpenID Foundation is warning that the internet has a serious blind spot. What happens to our digital lives after we die? In a new report, The Unfinished Digital Estate, the group says there's no consistent global standard for handling the accounts of deceased users, leaving everything from email and social media to cryptocurrency in a legal and technical gray area. Right now, platforms treat death like a rare corner case, even though it eventually applies to every internet user. According to the report, the lack of coordination could invite fraud, identity abuse, and even scams powered by deepfake technology that impersonates the deceased to manipulate friends or relatives. The problem is compounded by privacy laws like GDPR and CCPA, which largely stop protecting personal data after death. The Foundation is urging policymakers and tech companies to establish clearer digital inheritance rules, stronger identity protections, and standardized systems that allow trusted individuals to manage accounts without relying on shared passwords. Because, while the internet never forgets, it also hasn't figured out when it should let go. And that's the CyberWire. For links to all of today's stories, check out our daily briefing at thecyberwire.com. We'd love to know what you think of this podcast. Your feedback ensures we deliver the insights that keep you a step ahead in the rapidly changing world of cybersecurity. If you like our show, please share a rating and review in your favorite podcast app. Please also fill out the survey in the show notes or send an email to cyberwire@n2k.com. N2K's lead producer is Liz Stokes. We're mixed by Trey Hester, with original music and sound design by Elliot Peltzman. Our contributing host is Maria Vermazis. Our executive producer is Jennifer Iben. Peter Kilpie is our publisher, and I'm Dave Bittner. Thanks for listening. We'll see you back here tomorrow. If you only attend one cybersecurity conference this year, make it RSAC 2026. It's happening March 23rd through the 26th in San Francisco, bringing together the global security community for 4 days of expert insights, hands-on learning, and real innovation. I'll say this plainly, I never miss this conference. The ideas and conversations stay with me all year. Join thousands of practitioners and leaders tackling today's toughest challenges and shaping what comes next. Register today at rsaconference.com/cyberwire26. I'll see you in San Francisco. Most security conferences talk about Zero Trust. Zero Trust World puts you inside. This is a hands-on cybersecurity event designed for practitioners who want real skills, not just theory. You'll take part in live hacking labs where you'll attack real environments, see how modern threats actually work, and learn how to stop them before they turn into incidents. But Zero Trust World is more than labs. You'll also experience expert-led sessions, practical case studies, and technical deep dives focused on real-world implementation. Whether you're blue team, red team, or responsible for securing an entire organization, the content is built to be immediately useful. You'll earn CPE credits, connect with peers across the industry, and leave with strategies you can put into action right away. Join us March 4th through the 6th in Orlando, Florida. Register now at ztw.com and take your Zero Trust strategy from theory to execution.